All right, welcome everybody to Module 2 of the OV All-Stars Jumpstart course. This is Leanne Carmi, and you guys are in for a treat today. You've got Russell and Steve, and we're going to talk about picking a niche, picking offers, applying to affiliate networks, everything that you need to do to really hop in there and get started. Now, I need to apologize real quick. I sent a reminder email. I don't know if you guys got it, but I accidentally sent it to a few people who were not actually in the course. So if that's you, and I think most of the people that I see here are definitely in the course, but if that's you and you received the registration link and you're not in the course, don't worry, I'm not going to kick you out. Go ahead and enjoy this webinar. I think you're going to learn a lot. And I apologize for that if you weren't supposed to get it. But hey, if you're here, that's cool. Enjoy the webinar, and if you really like it, send an email to support and ask them to view the rest of the webinars. All right, so I think they'll let you do that. But anyway, got a great session for you today, and you got some good coaches in the background. You've got me and Mason in the background. We're going to answer your questions that come in, and I hope you enjoy this webinar. And without further ado, let's send it on to Russell. How's it going, Russell?
Going well today. So it's a beautiful day here in Michigan. Can you hear me okay? Everybody can hear me?
Yep, you sound great.
Awesome. Well, the story is Mac, which is my MacBook Pro, which is my main computer. Come to find out, they don't like iced tea. You know, like people like iced tea, but you can't give iced tea to your computer, your laptop. So I've been working off of this old Dell touchscreen, and I'm not exactly, a Windows guy, but that's okay. I have everything here, and we'll make the best of it. So today we are talking about picking a mobile offer. And my presentation today is going to be a little different than Leanne's was last week. Hers, she had, screenshots within her slides. You'll notice today that I do have, a couple of slides, but I'm also going to do some interactive stuff where I show you some different things inside of my email account, where I show you some different things within my network accounts, because I really want you to get the real feel for what you're going to see when you log into your mobile offer network. So I'm going to get started with that being said. So let's see here. Basically, we have the mobile offer networks, okay? And these are some of the very basic mobile offer networks. We have OfferMobi, we have Revived Media, MobAF. MobAF itself was not accepting new affiliates for a while, or publishers, as they would call us, for a while. And I got a phone call yesterday, actually, from Alex, who's the head of that, and they are starting to want to rebuild that business. So MobAF is now, the reason I put it on here is because it is definitely an option now. There is a company called Mundo Media. There's called Mobber. And then later on, if you get into pay-per-call, there is also Ring Partner and Mobile Fused. So some of the names you may have seen before, kind of major players when it comes to, I guess the one I didn't put in here was, Commission Junction or Never Blue. But these are the major players when it comes to specific, mobile offers. So these are the ones that I kind of stick with. I have, I want to know what's going on. I want to stay in the know. So these are ones that I stay with, specifically. So those are it. So some of the things I'm going to show you today you're going to see right inside of my accounts for some of these. And the reason I like to have accounts with everybody, not just to know what's going on, but they all have a different approach to the information they share. And it's nice to see what different offer payouts are around. So, I like to have, an account with all. So back to this is kind of the interactive part where I wanted to go through some things, but the basis of it is, how do I pick mobile offers? These are methods for picking mobile offers. So the first thing that I kind of wanted to highlight here, since you have this great forum, at your fingertips, is to go back and check out the guide I wrote, the Beginner's Guide to Running Mobile Offers, in the OV All-Stars forum. And the reason I say to go back and check that out is because I talk quite a bit about the types of offers, that you should be promoting on mobile, the reasons why. I go into the psychology, of the mobile device, and, it's an extension of the person, and, the types of offers like dating and casual gaming that tend to do well. So that's a really nice, foundation that I laid with that. So I didn't want everybody to kind of forget about that, because that is a really good resource. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to talk about here, and I'm going to show you some examples, is signing in to your network and looking for announcements and offer rankings. So when I say that, okay, basically what I'm talking about here is this type of thing. I'm in my OfferMobi account right here, and you can see that underneath offers, you can see all offers, but then I have something that says exclusives right here, and that tells me what kind of exclusive offers are in. This says new offers just in right here, and it also tells me about, a big new app called Game of War. So, just by signing in to my account and doing nothing more, I didn't have to contact anybody or anything, I'm able to see that these offers, are either exclusive to the network, are new, so I may want to take a look at them, and are considered to be a big new app, that maybe the network had to work hard at getting. So that's kind of what the inside of my OfferMobi account looks like, and that's how they do it. And the reason I say to sign up for different accounts is because everybody does it different, and I'm going to show you how that works. Within my Revive Media account now, this is very different. Now I'm showing you the inside of this, and kind of what they do, and I mean, this is a great place to have an account actually, is it says featured offers. What they're doing is they're showing you the top, 30 offers, per week inside of this. So, it's showing you all this different stuff. Right here you can see, you have Publishers Clearinghouse, Mozook, Sam Media, and Yamoja, and so on and so forth. And it gives you all the international countries that you should be running it in. Another thing that I like to take a look at inside of my Revived account is right here where it says notifications. They're one of the only networks that actually use the notification section, and it's really awesome. You can see this right here. New featured offers updated. Check your snapshot page for the top 30. You can see that they tell me right here, I love Mobi. These 4 offers are top converters. Run these campaigns on smartphones. The designs are sick. So they're giving me tips right inside of here. Like right here, Games Club, United Arab Emirates, easy converter, one-click conversion. So really, there's no mystery to this. I mean, it's laid out right in front of me, all because I signed up for and got approved for an account. So when I run things, as Leanne can tell you, this is where I'm getting my information. I mean, it's telling you for this dating app installs, run them while they're hot and available for Android and iOS, and it gives you your countries. Mozook UAE, run it. You will make money, period. So there's nothing more cut and dry than the people that actually own the offer telling me. I mean, it's straight from the horse's mouth. This is exactly, what's going on. So, this is the kind of thing I do when I'm looking for a mobile offer. We talked about looking for network exclusives and new offers in OfferMobi. Now, right here, we're available. Check out network-wide EPCs and conversion rates. Now, that being said, not many of the sources that you run with are going to really put out network-wide EPCs. I will tell you for a fact that Mundo Media does. send an email once weekly. I get one from my affiliate manager where he says, hey, here are the EPCs, and these are the top offers, and here are the conversion rates. A question may be, what is a good conversion rate? And that can really depend on, what you're obviously, if you're, it goes all the way down to, what country are you running the offer in? Are you running CPC, cost per click, or cost per thousand CPM? What are you paying for a click? And inversely, on top of what are you paying for the click, what is the payout? Is it 65 cents or is it $8 to $10? And so all of these things go into what makes a good conversion rate, because, obviously 10% would be a really great conversion rate for a lead gen offer, like a little dating offer where I get a 75% payout. I'd be making, a couple of cents, per lead on that, maybe as many as 5 cents per lead on that. But, you can turn around, and if you have a smaller conversion rate, like 3 or 4% with an $8 to $10 offer, and your clicks, if everything is the same and your clicks are the same price, you could still be, making out as good or even better because of the higher payout. So, it's not as easy as just seeing a conversion rate and saying, oh, that isn't as high as 10%, so I'm not going to run it. Depends on what you're paying for the traffic, and it depends on what the payout is on the offer. So one of the places where I have network-wide EPCs right inside of my publisher account is Ring Partner, and it shows right here for this last 7 days. If I go to this quarter, it'll change out my information a little bit, and you can see where I ran an offer right here. But right here, Network EPC, this is the average earnings per 100 calls across all publishers the last 7 days. So this is another, direct set off, for when I go to pick something. And you can see that I have, a carpet offer, an auto insurance bundle. I don't see an EPC there. So it's probably not the first thing I'm going to set up because, maybe it's, already canceled. Maybe it's already went through its promotion period, or maybe, people just aren't running it with any success. But, I see a few here, Empire Today for carpet, Fortis College Online, which is, a perennial favorite in, pay-per call, in the 300s. That sounds pretty good for 100 calls. Once again, I can't just say that, but, sounds good. Home security pay-per-call, $766 across 100 calls. So, this gives me at least some kind of idea about what other people are successful with. And, in marketing, obviously what you want to do is, you always want to, it's like riding the coattails, you copy what's successful already, copy what we're telling you we know works, and, you can be successful too. I am going to be posting a detailed case study actually on this offer right here. I was profitable with the one offer that I ran here, and this was a payday loan offer, as a matter of fact. So I'll be posting more about this in the forum as well. But, just to give you the idea that, yes, you can find network EPC in some places. So that's that. The other thing that I talked about right here is always read emails sent by the network, okay? So I'm actually inviting you into my personal email here really quick. I know a lot of people are afraid to do this, but I'll show you my personal email. That's okay. Mikasa S. Sukasa. So what you have here is, all the things that Revive Media has sent me, all the emails. And you can see just dating back to July 29th, just in the last month, they've sent all of these. Pay attention to these because, what you see here is, an email that he sent out where he's talking about, different campaigns, and he's talking about what's making money. You can even just look at the subject line sometimes. New Neo mobile offers, Italy, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, dollars. Sizzling hot offers to finish the summer strong. huge pay bumps, new Brazil Mobile and more. Tons of new one-click conversion offers to reach $10,000 a day. There are people doing that. So, gist of it is, by reading these emails, and staying in contact, you're learning a whole lot about, what they suggest that you run and what other people are successful with. So there's no guesswork here. I mean, really what I'm showing you isn't rocket science, but at the same time, it's absolutely, golden. It's absolutely golden. And then, of course, last but not least, be in contact with your network rep, at least weekly. I say weekly, when I'm running pretty hard, I may even talk to them on a daily basis, or maybe every other day. But, they're the people that work for the network. They know what brands are hot. They know which ones are working. So, be sure to be in contact with them, all the time so that or, so that when something that you're running pauses or, if there are caps, that you're staying with those caps. So, that's kind of what I've put together here as far as, the things you really need to do when you're looking to pick a mobile offer. So this last slide I put together, while we're on the subject of mobile, we're going to be moving on to picking desktop CPA offers with Steve based on the stuff that I explained, which is really pretty cut and dry. What kind of questions are there? And anything that, Mason or Steve or Leanne wants to add to what I've said as well.
So while we're waiting for our members to type in any questions they have about this, it seems like, I mean, what you're explaining is just ask your affiliate manager basically what's working, right? Instead of going out there and just picking anything, just ask your affiliate manager. So I wanted to ask this: do you ever look through the offers and think about what succeeded for you in the past and work that way instead of asking? Or do you always just go with what's recommended, what other people are basically doing that's working for them?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, Leanne. I mean, that's a great question. I know personally, what types of offers have worked in the past. Like I've made dating offers work. However, lately I haven't made them work. So, I haven't been focusing in on those. Gaming offers, from time to time, you get a really good one. I know when Candy Crush was hot, I mean, it still is, but I know when it was hot to run mobile on it before it kind of got, washed out a little bit by so many affiliates running it. I know I hit a little patch of that where I was just, doing hundreds of leads a day. So, yeah, I'll look at things that I've been successful with in the past. I'm partial to games nowadays. But also, I like to listen to what they're saying, too, because this international thing is pretty new for me, and I look strong on it. And when they're telling me that they're people are doing tens of thousands of dollars a day, obviously it's something that I want to scale up with and, something that I want to be a part of. So, yeah, I think a little bit about what I've been successful with in the past. Like, I'm partial to maybe trying to run Mozook or Partner Tracker because I've seen that you can get leads, and I haven't had to, execute those because they were so terrible. It's just a matter of getting the right traffic. We talked about that on our Q&A session last night, if you were there. Talked about getting the right traffic for the right offers. So, once again, that's a communication thing. I mean, I've found that, communication can really cover about 90% of this. So that would kind of be my long answer to that question.
Okay, so a couple of questions in the queue now, and really good one from Oscar. He says, basically, what are the things that the profitability of a campaign depends on? In other words, what are all the variables that create a profitable campaign?
Okay, that is a very good question. I mean, it's a chain of variables. As a matter of fact, that makes a profitable or non-profitable campaign. I laugh because it's this chain of variables. Basically it starts with the offer. Is the offer something that touches up? And going back to that guide I wrote, is the offer something that touches a person's emotional buy buttons? Is it a dating offer? Does it appeal to the mind? Is it entertainment? Is it a game? Is it ringtones? It starts with, how broad of a base in an audience can you reach with it, and so that's the first thing. And then there's the message to market match. So at that point, you look at your banners, the psychology of the creative, actually, if you're doing display advertising, and you look at the copy of your, text ads, and you start thinking about what marketing angle am I going to use? Am I going to be like everybody else and say, find a friend tonight, for dating, or am I going to try something new and say, instead of find your mate, maybe, find your best friend, So what is my angle going to be, when I get into marketing? So that's the first thing people see. So that's where it starts. And is it congruent with, is that creative, whether it's text or display, is that congruent with the landing page they're going to see? And then there's a landing page, of course. Are you using a custom landing page, or are you direct linking to the landing page that was provided? In dating, many times you use a custom landing page. However, sometimes I've had success direct linking, to a landing page that I've been given. So then there's that. Outside of that, pretty quickly. I mean, it's the kind of game that it either works or it doesn't. You know very quickly when an offer just doesn't work, because when it's bad, it's bad. You'll spend $25, in a day to get some data, and you didn't get any conversions at all. When you can cut it and cut your losses and move on to the next one. It's pretty quick. But you also know when something shows a little bit of promise, like maybe I spent $25 and I got 5 to 10 conversions. Well, now, that's a different story altogether. Now I need to find out where those conversions came from. Who were the referrers? What were the site referrers? Was it MSN? Was it Moco Space? Probably if it was dating, it could be. So then I pick that placement, and I say, I want more of that traffic, more of that specific traffic. And what device did it come on? Did it come from a Samsung, Galaxy S3, specific handset? Did it come from a bunch of different Samsungs? Did it come from a bunch of different Androids? Or did it come from an iPhone 4S with operating system 4.0 or above? That all those things, go into that chain. Eventually after a month of data or so, what time of day am I getting my conversions? Day parting. What days am I getting my conversions? Am I always doing better with dating on Friday? I've certainly seen spikes on Fridays myself. Doesn't mean everybody does, but I've had some good Fridays with dating campaigns, and Saturdays, I guess, sometimes too. So these are all things that go into it. And then at that point, you have to see, based on, what are you paying per click? Are you doing CPC? If so, what are you paying? Are you paying 5 cents a click? And, it depends on how many conversions you get per how many clicks. So it's a arbitrage game, as Leanne would say at that point. How much am I spending for a lead? And then once you know what that lead is worth, then you can, when you get ready to scale, you can change over to a CPM model once you know what that lead is worth. So I think that's another long answer, but that's the question that was being asked.
Yeah, and Oscar says basically everything influences the campaign. Yeah, and everything that Russell just went through, if any of that went over your head, this entire course, you're going to learn how to do all of that, how to make a campaign profitable with all those steps, and we're going to walk you through it. But what I would say to answer that question, Russell, is I would say just that last part. What things influence the profitability of a campaign? You paying less than you're making. That's what makes it profitable, is you're paying less for traffic than what you're making, and then everything else is the technicalities of it. So we got another question here from Jim. Jim just wants to know, and I'll answer this one. Will YouTube videos pick up on what device is being used in order to send the proper format? Jim, what they do is they use HTML5, which is responsive to mobile. But just to be clear, when we're talking about CPA offers here, if you remember from my webinar last week, I showed a sample CPA offer on mobile. And basically, it was just a phone submit, right? People had to put in their phone number, or sometimes it's downloading an application. So I just want to be clear that unless you're building a list or doing something or sending people to your own video, you really don't have to worry about that in this particular course. If you're doing free marketing for CPA, the YouTube videos will show well on an iPhone, and they'll show well on an Android, and they'll show well on the desktop. But in this case, we're talking about paid media, sending paid traffic, and so this is really not relevant at this time. So, all right, so back on to Russell and I guess Steve pretty soon here.
Yeah, so were those all the questions? I mean, that's basically what I had. As far as picking offers, and the questions were great. Don't be afraid to get inside of the forum and ask those type of questions, because we love answering them, and we're there to help. So I would love to see, some of the people that are on this call, or I'd love to see you all do it, love to see you all, read through that guide that I wrote, A Beginner's Guide to Running Mobile Campaigns, and, go through this, replay when it's available, and start running some, get some real life experience, maybe, put up $50 from a traffic network, pick some offers, ask us some marketing angles, go in there and do some step-by-step stuff, even put it in the case study tournament for October, and, we'd love to see you win that, of course. Voting's closed for August, but, we would love to see you, get in there and be a part of that, and we'd love to help you become profitable in this space. So that's all I have, and, if there are no other questions, we'll get ready to turn it over to Steve on desktop CPA.
Well, thank you, Russell. That was awesome. A lot of what I'm going to talk about, with picking web offers is going to be similar to what you just spoke about with picking mobile offers, I think. There's definitely a big distinction. I'm old school. I started doing this, years ago. I haven't made the mobile hop yet, like everybody else has. But so for those of you that are interested in running web offers, this is generally what I do personally. These are some of the tricks of the trade that I picked up over the past 7 years, and I'm excited to show them. So first, just breaking this whole procedure down, don't look at it from an offer standpoint. Look at it from a niche standpoint. And when you decide what kind of niche you want to run, some really important rules to remember. And this is going to save you a lot of time kind of down the line if you follow these rules. The first one is you don't pick a niche that you cannot scale. It's just not worth your time. If you're only going to make $10 a day on it, for 100 days, $10 a day might sound great. $50 a week, $200 a month, but at the end of the day, you're going to be spending so much time getting that, to that point, that it's really not worth when you can have other campaigns where the scalability is thousands a day, and that's what we're trying to work, get you to that level. So if there's not any scalability, and you'll know that by the amount of traffic that there is, then it's just don't even waste your time on the offer and move on. The next one is if there's a lot of competition for the niche, if you see a lot of offers around the web of people pushing the same offers, then that means that there's going to be a lot of scalability, and that's something that you definitely should take interest in. And just because there's a lot of competition does not mean that you should not run the offer. You challenge yourself to become the best at that traffic source for that niche, and I guarantee you guys you're going to make a lot of money. And that's what you have to do. You have to hone your craft, and it takes time, and it takes practice, and it takes testing, and it takes frustration and overcoming that. So but those are just basic rules, and when you pick a niche to that you want to run in. Other things I'd suggest, pick something you're comfortable with. If you're a gym rat and you like eating healthy, then choose something in that mold, because you know about it and you know what your target audience instantly out of the gate is going to be, because you're your target audience. And if you can promote that product to yourself, then you can instantly start to kind of see, okay, well, I like doing this, and I like baseball, and I like watching sports, and so I'm going to promote to these people just like me, because I have an instant connection with them. So that gives you something kind of out of the gate to start with, and I think that's definitely important also when you're picking an offer, especially the first time. How do I pick my offers? Well, there's a lot to it.
Research, innovate, create, repeat. This is something I repeat to myself whenever I'm starting a new campaign, because it kind of teaches myself to be original. However, to be resourceful, look what's out there, be innovative, create my own, ideas and angles, and, whether I use somebody else's landing page or, if I take an angle that somebody else is using and incorporate something that I personally know, it doesn't matter. Like, this is what makes you a marketer. And then, you continually do that and you repeat. And that's just, it's that simple. That's how I, in a nutshell, that's how I pick offers, and that's how I run campaigns. So some, finer details in there, like I said, create an angle. The angle is extremely important whenever you run any kind of offer, because you're basically saying, this is why you should get this product. And you're coming from, an area, and you can target that area, and just you'll have a higher level of success out of the gate by doing this. And then when you have that angle, it's a lot easier to find an offer that kind of fits that angle, especially if you use OfferVault or you log into any of your networks that you already have existing, and it's just a lot easier once you have that idea in mind to find an offer that'll fit. Other ways I surf the web. I look at a lot of display offers that are out there. I go to the main sites like MSNBC, ESPN, CNN. All the big sites, go to Alexa and look at your top 30 sites and look what people are pushing and promoting, and that's a good indicator of what's working. And so I might go from there and look at a niche that's working, and say, okay, well, what other offers are in this niche, and kind of break it down from there. Another thing I do, this is really one of the most important things you guys can do, is talk to fellow marketers, build a network. You have to start talking to people that are like-minded, that are doing what you're doing. Whether they're struggling or successful, it doesn't matter. Like, people that surround yourself with people in this industry that are trying to do what you're doing. And then, you guys can bounce ideas off each other. You can, talk about what's worked for you, what hasn't. You can kind of learn from other people's mistakes. You can also get ideas from some things that other people are doing. And these are all things that give you that spontaneous, oh my God, aha moment, where you see an offer, you have an angle, and all of a sudden you just know it's going to work. And you'll get it when you get it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, those aha moments are great. And the more people you talk to, the more people you're sharing, your ideas as a marketer, and that stuff is just, it's invaluable. I don't think I'd be where I was today if it wasn't for the network that I've built over the past 7 years. And I'm truly blessed for that. And I've said that from day one. And the other thing is, when you learn from other people's mistakes, don't be afraid to try something that they're failing at just because they're failing. Doesn't mean you're going to fail. Don't do the exact same thing they're doing, obviously, but, if you come in with a different twist or a different angle, or, a few different variations on your landing page, or, your sales page, by all means, don't let them scare you off. You be your own, dictator. You tell yourself what you're going to do, and you make it happen. So, another thing I like to do is I use spy sites, like What Runs Where, Box of Ads. Box of Ads is really for PPV. What Runs Where is definitely for more of a, media buying angle. And those two of the most, that's what I do with arbitrage, is those two traffic sources. But those are great because you can really see, you can gain intel basically on your competition. You can really see what other people are doing that's working. You can see what other people are doing, that they're just trying. There's a lot of ways to really use these two resources. And, in fact, I was talking to somebody the other day who's running a campaign for credit, like signing up and checking your credit scores on a PPV source. And he used box of ads, and literally within 2 days, he was like, I've just got this genius idea that, he ripped the landing page and came in with a different angle, and literally within 2 days was making about $1,000 a day. So there's ways out there that you can use this stuff and use what other people are doing, but come up with your own angle. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of people, get upset when landing pages get ripped. It is what it is. So, especially if you can add your bit to make it better, that's a very good ingredient to be in success.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about what box of ads is and how that works?
Sure. Box of ads is simply, it's for PPV. It's basically a PPV spy tool. So what they do is they sign up to, where Traffic Advance and, Lead Impact and Direct CPV, all your PPV traffic, all the PPV sources, they'll basically get the spyware, the toolbar, the downloads, and they'll have servers just dedicated to watching what all the marketers are promoting. And they just basically kind of copy, and you can go in there and do searches, and you basically can see what other marketers are pushing, what landing pages they're using, how they use. I mean, you can follow everything. It's pretty genius. In fact, I believe they're part of our forum. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely. I think Johnny is a member of OV All Stars. So highly valuable software if you push PPV, though. Don't push PPV if you're not using that.
Right.
Did I kind of answer your question, Mason?
Yeah. I just I hadn't run PPV in a little while. I didn't know they had something like that, so that's interesting. I'll probably sign up for that.
Definitely use that if you're going to run PPV.
Gotcha.
It's just especially just to see what other people are doing. That's a crucial part of my research, just to make sure that I'm kind of on the right path. So.
And I mean, for anyone who's interested, there's actually a discount on the forum for a box of ads. So just so everybody knows.
Not that we're trying to pimp out Johnny's software, but it is good. It is really good. So if you're serious about using PPV as a traffic source, then I would highly recommend it. So, and then some of the other stuff, with offers, I mean, that's really in a nutshell. That's the big stuff that I personally do. I don't know if that separates me or distinct. It's just what I've done. It's what I've learned over the years. But a lot of the stuff also, like Russell talked about, talk to your affiliate manager, and find out what offers are working well, with whatever traffic source you're intending to use. Like, I email, so I'll reach out to my AM and I'll say, hey, what offers are emailing you really well across your network? Like, what do you think? Because I may not think of something like an as seen on TV offer. I would never probably do that. But he said, the other day, he said, hey, it's got a 65-cent EPC, give it a shot. I tried it, and lo and behold, I hit over $1 EPC. So things that I wouldn't have tried before, if you have a good AM, they're going to be a very, very valuable resource for you. And we're going to get into that in a minute about, picking networks and applying to CPA networks.
And Steve, just a quick question, because you're saying box of ads is really targeted at PPV, and you mentioned some of the ad networks. And Jim wants to know, what traffic source is what runs where targeted at? And I know you said media buys, but, what kind of traffic sources would that be?
AOL, I know AdSonar quite a bit, Pulse 360, your big media buy spots. I don't know if I think Engage is on there. I haven't done any media buying in about 3 months, so I would say those are the basics. It's display. Display meaning banner advertising. So if you see an ad on a website, that's display. So anytime you use what runs where, that's basically what that's for. Now they also have a new mobile version of what runs where that I have not played with, but I've heard it's phenomenal as well. So if you're pushing mobile traffic, that's mobile media buys. That's probably another little tool you can use to And once again, these are just tools to gain intel. You're just trying to figure out what other people are doing, try to kind of spur up, just some sort of creativity in your mind, or just to kind of reemphasize this idea that you had, or it's just one of the parts of your research. But it's very important to use the technology that's available to you. I mean, this stuff is good. It's good software. So I definitely would use this stuff. Let's see. Did that answer that question, Leon?
So.
Okay. Let's see. So like I said, you're affiliate manager, and we'll get more into this, but that's a crucial cog into making sure you're successful online. Is having a good affiliate managers with all your networks. I've left a lot of networks and gone back to networks for different affiliate managers, and that's another topic for another time. But also, like Russell said, you can look at your overall numbers for an offer. If the network offers that feature, they should. Most networks that don't, you should be worried about that. It usually means that they don't have a lot of traffic to most of their offers. An example, I use Evius Media over here. Pull this over here. You can even search it by vertical. Like you can look at Asking on TV, BizUp. You can look at all their offers, and it'll tell you what the network-wide EPCs are. So if I'm trying to do a different vertical, like if I want to email a Saturday, which I don't, but for dating, I can look at all the top EPCs for dating. And you better believe, well, I'm going to start with these top, EPCs first because, and work my way down. That's just smart marketing. So that's definitely something I would recommend using, like Russell said. And then last but not least, use OfferVault. OfferVault is a free resource. You're crazy if you're not using OfferVault, honestly, because it's literally, I belong to a lot of networks because I've been doing this for a long time. But as a newer marketer, you don't know what network has what. You don't know these networks from, anything else besides what you hear. OfferVault is a way to really show you, and let me just go to OfferVault. OfferVault is just a way to really show you everything that's out there. It's an aggregator of all the CPA offers that are basically out there in the industry. And it's got a mobile tab, so you can look at mobile. You can do, web offers, which is generally what I do. But overall, I can look at, if I'm looking at a Garcinia offer, right? Like Garcinia Cambogia. Let me see if I can spell it right. And, that's a very popular diet offer, so I want to see what networks are offering this. Oh, and I spelled it wrong, of course. So this is going to allow me to basically, and some of you might be familiar with OfferVault. If you're not, what am I spelling wrong? All right. Oh, I'm on mobile, that's why. And I use OfferVault on a daily basis, obviously. I do, actually. So I'm looking for Garcinia offers. I basically put this up and look, there they are. So I can go in, I can preview the offers right here. I can click on the offer. I see my payout, the network. It's got everything you need to know. And so look, and this kind of brings me to the next point about signing up for a network. When you go into a network and say, I saw this offer here on OfferVault. I'm interested in running this offer. This is how I'm going to run it. Networks are not going to say no to that. You're ready to go. You have the offer in mind that you want to push. You're telling them how you're going to push it. That's what they want to hear from you, So let's go back to, here and then
Steve,
next slide.
What you just said, can you repeat that slower about exactly what you just said about getting to a network and asking for a particular offer?
Sure. So, and this is one of the key values of using OfferVault is that you inform yourself. You inform yourself of what the network has. You basically say, okay, network A, I want to run with you because you have this Garcinia Cambogia offer that I would like to push. I push my traffic via email marketing, or I do arbitrage, display, PPV, whatever it may be. This is the site I'm going to use. And you don't have to tell them anything else. You can tell them how you're going to push the traffic, the offer you want to push. And once they hear that, they're going to say, holy crap, yeah, I want this guy in my network right now. He's serious about what he's doing. And that's huge. You're not going to waste their time. You're going to get right in. I guarantee with that mentality, you're going to get into 99% of the networks you apply just by that. And we're about to talk more about other things you can do. Did that answer your question, Ian?
Yeah, and the reason, and I apologize if you hear my bird in the background, the reason I wanted you to repeat that is because one of the biggest questions that we get on the forum is, how do I apply? How do I get accepted to these networks? I'm brand new. I don't have any experience. This is how. I mean, Steve just gave you like the the golden goose, right? The golden egg. This is how you do it. You select the offer in advance. You pick the network you want to work with. You decide what type of traffic you want to run. Maybe you even decide on the network, the ad network that you're going to use. And then you go to them that way. You say, I want to run this offer. Here's the traffic that I use. I'm running it on this particular ad network or these two ad networks. That's it. Let me in. And like Steve said, 99% of the time, they're going to let you in.
Yeah, trust, I promise you that'll work. It's just, and there's a few other things we're going to go over, but if you're interested in, you've had trouble getting into an affiliate network before in the past, then listen to these next few slides, because this is going to change that problem for you, I promise. First I want to talk, when you apply to a CPA affiliate network, I want to kind of talk to you about my view of how what I look for when I work with a network. And my opinion is different. I actually used to own a CPA network, and I ran the CPA network for 3 years. So I have a different perspective because I know what the guts of the CPA network are and how they operate and what they do. So I know what I'm looking for out of the gate as a marketer because I've done both sides. But trusting your traffic to a network it's a business deal. They're basically a bank. They're holding your money for you from the advertiser until they agree to pay you. So anytime you make a deal like that, guys, you need to do due diligence. Look into the network. Make sure they're not just some, startup that is not funded. And, don't roll the dice. Don't be a risk taker. Go with someone established, especially out of the gate. There's no point in losing money. Everybody in this game that has been doing this for as long as I have anyway, has lost money. It's happened, and it's probably going to happen to you at some point, unless you basically take heed to this advice, because this is crucial. And there's well-established networks now. The industry and the space has changed well enough now so that you don't have to lose that money anymore like we did. So go to a more established network, go to a bigger network, and gain that trust. And that's done by communicating. Talk to your affiliate manager. Be open with them. The first thing I look for is trust. I tell everyone everything about how I push traffic. I'm very open. I'm forthcoming about everything I do, no matter what. And that's who I am, and I want them to know that, so that there's never a question about my traffic with the advertiser or just with anything. They're like, this guy is on the up and up. He has quality traffic. I make them want to work with me. And that's one of the first things. That's part of what I do. And I expect the same from them about where their offers are, how well they're doing. If the advertiser is shady, or if they're not getting, their prepays out, or I don't want to run my traffic and risk not getting paid. And they need to be on the up and up with me. Confidence, and that's really, like I said, that's about getting paid. And the faster I get paid, the more I can make. It's that simple. When you pay to market, if I have more money to spend on marketing, I can make more money, and they can get more traffic. So it works well for both of us. So I basically am up front. I tell them I want my weekly payouts out of the gate. I tell them why, and I show them, what I'm looking for, and I generally get what I'm wanting. So that's a big thing for me as well, because I like to turn my money over as fast as possible. Offer selection is obviously a very big one. You'll see a lot of that out in Offer Vault when you do your selections, but when you get in, I'll take a look, honestly, but then I'll go to my AM and I'll say, hey, look, I see what you have, and that's great. You have 500 plus offers. No way I'm going to sift through all these and read these. You tell me, based on what I've told you on how my traffic sources and what I do, what's going to work for me. And I'll test it. And if you're good at what you do and these work for me, I'm going to keep sending my traffic to you. And that's the game. Make them work for you. Make your affiliate managers work for you. Make them an extension of your marketing. The more they make money off of your traffic. We all know that. So if you're going to make money off of my traffic, then make me money off my traffic also. Otherwise, I'm going to go to the next, AM that's a hustler and that's going to, make me money. That's what it's all about, And I make sure I'm very upfront with all my AMs right out of the gate. This is a money-making game. If you're not going to make me money, I'm moving on. I love making friends, but I like making money more when it comes to business. So those are my key attributes when I pick a network. Think about what you're, when you sign up for a network, think about these things and just incorporate that into your thought process when you sign up for new networks. Here's the do's and the do nots of the affiliate application. This is probably what a lot of you guys have been, need to see or been wanting to see. Like I said, I owned and ran a network for 3 years. I sold it earlier this year. I'm very grateful for that. These are just some basic tips, and this is, if you follow these, you're going to get accepted pretty much in every network you apply to. I promise.
Hey, Steve, real quick, Jim wants to know, how can you tell how an offer is rebrokered?
You can follow the path. So I use, let me see, web developer. You can get like tools for, I haven't used it in a while, but there's tools where you can literally follow links, and it'll pull up a bar down here. There's an extension on, and I'll put it on the forum when I find it. But it'll basically show you, or you can just, at the bottom left, you can look at the links, and if you start seeing a bunch of different links pop up, I promise you it's being rebrokered. Let me see, web developer. Huh.
Yeah, you can use Where Goes, I think, right?
Yeah, that's one. There's
just
a lot
go to Google and search
right
for
here.
reasons.
I just pulled one up right here. So here's the inspector. So you just look, if you click on an offer after you do this, it's just going to show you the code, and you'll see all sorts of different links. And you can just follow the link all the way up to the top. But now, before everyone says, oh, well, go straight to the source. Look, if you're running in a network that's directly working with this advertiser, you're fine. The whole purpose of working with a network is you're going to get paid faster than you would if you work for the advertiser. The advertiser wants to pay on monthly terms. The network knows that if I'm going to get your traffic and you're running you're running thousands of dollars a week, which, then I'm going to have to pay you weekly. So my risk as a network is I have to pay you early. I have to float you. So I'm not going to get paid on this probably until this, September, 14th, but I'm going to have to pay you all this money ahead of time. And that's one of the risks of being a network. And if you're not with a good network, you're going to get burned. And that's why, a lot of the rules I told you about earlier, it's important when you choose who you work with. It's crucial. Close this. So, the first thing is this. We already kind of talked about this with Leanne. Make sure you know what you're talking about. When you apply to a network, don't be that guy that says, well, my friend is making a lot of money with you guys and told me just to sign up, and because you're going to be, everyone's just, that's the pipe dream. If you're not willing to work for something, then why would a network, expend their time and energy working with you if you're not willing to expend it back? It's a mutual partnership, and you have to view it like that. You have to look at it like, I have to do my job, they have to do their job, and if we both do our jobs right, we can both make money, and we're both happy. So that's in a nutshell. So know what you're talking about. Know what you're saying. Use OfferVault. Know what offers you want from them. Know exactly why you want to work with them when you go in there. And when you get in there, start pushing traffic immediately. Don't waste time. If you do that, they're going to be like, this guy's a joke. Just another one of these guys that looks at OfferVault and moves on to the next project. Find your offer, take your network, get in there, get the offer, and start pushing traffic within 24 to 48 hours. I guarantee you that AM is going to be all over you like white on rice. If they're good, they will be. If that AM knows what they're doing, they're going to see you pushing traffic out of the gate, and they're going to start talking to you more and more about your traffic, what help they can give you, and that's when you start building your relationship with them. And that's the whole evolution of your being in that network, and that's a very crucial time. So the second rule is always be accessible. I have a rule where, and Leanne and Russell and Mason and Mark all know, I don't care what time of day it is. If you need me, you can get me. You have my cell. You can get me on Skype. All right, just always be accessible, right? Whether it's email, hey, whether it's just a quick, hey, I can't talk right now. I'll ping you back in a couple hours, or just something, but just say, hey, I'm here. I hear you, but I'll this is what's going on. But be accessible. Make sure that all your contact information is up to date. It's all correct. They should never have to run around the bush to try to find you. If they do, they're not going to. They're just going to deny your application out of the gate. If you have an accent, don't worry about that. As long as you're honest, legit, and upfront, then you shouldn't have any issue. Just because somebody's foreign doesn't mean they can't make money. Just because you don't speak my ethnic language doesn't mean you can't push traffic better than anybody else in my country. That has no bearing on anything, right? International affiliates get a bad rep because there's a lot of international fraud, and it's just the way the game is played. But if you're upfront and honest and open about everything, and you go in with that first little tip about how you're going to push traffic, what you're going to do, and what offer and all that, then you're not going to have an issue. The other thing is, build up a referral list of AMs that you work with, or anyone in the industry, for example. For me, I might use Leanne, and since I've worked with Leanne now for about 6 months, I might just say, well, if I'm trying to go somewhere and somebody wants to know about me, use Leanne. Just build up a network, build up a list. And the thing about doing them with affiliate managers is it should sting them a little bit. Like I said, if they're good at what they're doing, they're saying, well, why is he taking his traffic over there? What am I not doing? Right? And then all of a sudden they're going to start hitting you up with more offers. Play them against each other. This is I don't want to call it a game, but that's how I'm very competitive, and that's how I think of things sometimes. And this is a game. Use these guys. Tell them that this network's paying me weekly. I'm getting higher payouts. My affiliate manager hits me up every morning. Hey, I've got a brand new hot offer. It's our own internal offer. We just released it. I want you to have first crack at it. I'm going to give you 50 leads a day cap out of the gate. If it works for you, then it's uncapped. These are things that I love waking up to hear. Work these guys into that. Let them work for your traffic. That's their job.
Yeah, a lot of times they have, like he was saying, they have private offers and things that their internal guys are running, and just a few affiliates are running that work really well. And they don't open it up to the whole network because they don't want to get a bunch of fraud in there, and they can do enough volume on their own. So sometimes they'll open that kind of stuff up to you as well, and that's the kind of networks you want to work with.
Absolutely, and think of it like this: with those types of offers, the less polluted it is on the internet, the better chance I have, making money because I get to pollute it first. If I'm the one that's pushing this offer out first that nobody's seen, I have a much better chance of it, of being successful out of the gate than somebody else that's doing it, 6 months from now for something that's already been seen 100 times. So, and that's a crucial part. That's, when you get to the more advanced level and, your AMs or networks that you work with are just giving you exclusives out of the gate, that's really what I look for now when I sign up for a network, especially emailing. I want something new and fresh. So,
yeah, I'll also say too that if you get something like that working, make sure that they give you a certain amount of leads that you're guaranteed for the month, because sometimes you do your testing and then you get it to work. And then they're like, oh, well, it's capped now because their internal guys are already spending $20,000 a day on it, and they're capping it every day. And so,
they're not going to give you cap if they're banking on it, But you have, like you said, if you secure it up front, just say, look, don't tease me. Give me a certain amount this month. That way, if it works, I'm good. If it's not going to work, I'm going to be open with you and say, hey, look, thanks anyway, but it's not going to work with my traffic. And let them have it back.
But I get that guaranteed because I'm telling you, I've gotten offers to work, and then I get pulled off of it until the next month, and then I get pulled off of it again, and then I never can bank on it.
And then you have to go network hopping to find anyone who's got the offer, and that's a pain in the butt.
It is.
So, yeah. So, and these are things you guys will all work up to. These are things that, it's. You got to do. It's just there's a procedure for all this, and you got to get in the trenches on a daily basis. You got to push traffic, and then you have to become really good at pushing traffic. Learn from your mistakes. That's the most important thing. If you learn from your mistakes and incorporate that into every new campaign, you will be successful. There's no doubt about that. So, and then one other thing about my traffic and on your affiliate application, this is kind of like the extra credit portion that your teachers might let you do at the end of a test. In the notes, this is something I always do, and this is true because I do, and this is just from my experience. But tell them that your traffic is focused 100% on quality, not quantity. Tell them that, there's no way the advertiser is going to want to work with me and my traffic if they don't make money on it. So for them to make money on it, they have to get retention, and it has to work, right? So I'm not looking to bang out 100 leads, just to make on a $5 lead, just to make 500 offers if that traffic's not going to work for them long term. I'm looking for long-term deals. I'm looking for something that I can scale for 6 months and make a lot of money on, rather than something that they're going to cut me off after 2 weeks because my quality's crap, So let them know out of the gate that, hey, I'm aware of this, okay? I understand the game. I understand that if the advertiser's not making money on my traffic, I'm not going to, I'm not going to be able to run this traffic for very long. And that's not something I'm interested in, So tell them, I focus on quality. I do this by micro-targeting. I do this by paying attention to what I do, learning from my mistakes, and I have a very good system in place, where I generally can get quality traffic, out of, within a week of running traffic. And then let them know you want to establish a long-term winning relationship for both sides. And they're going to be putty in your hands. They're going to be calling you every day saying, "Hey, where's your traffic?"
Yep, they do. But I mean, don't just if you get something to work and you think you can blow it out, don't just send 10 grand of traffic in one day. Make sure, like he said, because what will happen is they'll freak out and they'll be calling you and saying, I didn't know you were going to send this much volume, blah, blah, blah. Where are you getting this traffic? Because they're going to get freaked out, because if that traffic's not good, then the advertiser's not going to pay them, and it freaks them out. So make sure you give them a decent sample size, 500 leads, 1,000 leads, and then check with them and say, hey, how is my traffic backing out for the advertiser? Before you blow it up.
3-day quality check. That's a great point too. Is after you start sending traffic, like Mason said, go in there and say, hey, look, how's my quality working out for your advertiser? I just want to make sure that, before I start scaling up, because I'm starting to see good numbers after 3 days. I'm seeing some margins I like. And instead of spending $50 a day on this, I'd like to bump it up to 150 or 300. But I want to make sure that this is working for them first, so I get paid for my traffic. Because the last thing, and it's happened to all of us, the last thing you want is to start scaling on something and then get cut off because your quality sucks. This isn't working for that. That's you're getting teased because you think you have something in front of you that's a golden egg, and that all of a sudden is not. And then so it's just a waste of time. So do a quality check. I usually do it about 3 days after my traffic. I just to show them that, hey, I'm cognizant, I'm aware. This is I want to make sure that this traffic is working. When you do stuff, little things like this, man, these guys will trust you out of the gate. So. Good point, Mason. Really good point. So, but that's really what I've got, in terms of picking your niche, your offers, and working with networks. I know we kind of went over our time a little bit, but I'd be happy to answer any questions from anyone, coach or student.
So there's a question from Gwen here, and Gwen says, I'm working on a limited budget, so what are some of the cheaper traffic sources that you suggest I should start using for maximum results? And Gwen, just so you know, we're gonna get to traffic sources in the series of webinars. So you're actually going to learn all about how to select the traffic source and how to get set up. But I'll get some answers from Steve as well. And here's a question again: what are some of the cheaper traffic sources that you can start using for maximum results?
I'm partial. The whole reason I started pushing PPV was because of how cheap it is. I mean, you can bid $0.015 out of the gate on certain websites, and I don't know if you read my PPV guides, but I'm real big into micro-targeting, and that's what I call it. I mean, it's just really digging down deep into targeting so that I know that my ad is being placed in front of people that are relevant at all times, 100% of the time, not 80%, not 70%. I know that if you're seeing my ad, you're going to be interested in some way because of the site you're visiting, and that's the power to me of PPV. There's ways of being creative with PPV. Like if you're selling, like a Medicaid or a life insurance, or something to older people. You can target game show sites like The Price is Right. You can target places where older people are going to go, and you can get creative and be a good marketer that way, and still pay a penny and a half per impression. And to me, I don't think there's a better, cheaper traffic source out there, honestly, in terms of what it gives you the leverage to actually do as a marketer. But I will say, you're going to have your ducks in a row, and you need to follow this course, because you'll learn about tracking, which you have to do with PPV, and you'll learn about running campaigns and optimizing and things like that. And that's the crucial aspect. But my answer to that question would be PPV, and I am definitely biased, so I will say that.
Yeah, and I guess a more. Oh, go ahead, Mason.
Oh, yeah, you finish what you're saying. I was just going to get into.
So, on a more practical, more practical way of answering that is, if you have a limited budget, and let's say you do want to run PPV, you can't, if you really do have a limited budget, then you're not going to buy into $1,000, right, to start off your campaigns on traffic bans, for example. So you want to just look for networks that have a lower buy-in, like maybe direct CPV or lead impact or something like that. Or in the case of mobile networks, sometimes you can just fund $50 to start. So.
And the other thing too, the whole limited budget thing, we've all been there. We all have our starting points, and the one thing I would tell you is, be prepared to lose the money you put in at first. So, and that's a hard thing to hear, but it's you're generally not going to hit a home run on your first at bat. It happens, but it doesn't happen a lot. So be prepared to have a budget set up where you allocate percentages per campaign. So if you only have $100 to start, don't start off pushing $25 a day in traffic, because that's only 4 days of pushing traffic, and then you're done. And you have nothing to go on. No matter how well you did, you have no way to improve it. You can't scale it. You can't optimize it. So if that's your case, look, you're better saving up, learning, teaching yourself, reaching out to people in the forum, and educating yourself as much as possible. So when you are ready to make the move, you have some firepower. Because I can tell you guys, and this has happened to me before. There's no feeling like hitting a good campaign and hitting good margins, where if I just spend 5 times the amount I'm spending now, I make 5 times the amount. Like, it's a miserable feeling. So, have a system built, plan it accordingly, and plan all aspects of your traffic. Don't just plan the initial buying traffic phase. That's just the initial phase. Plan it like a business.
All right, and we do have a bunch of questions popping in the queue, so let's, and I don't know if Mason wanted to comment.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion on what quality traffic means. So Jim's saying that, if it converts, isn't that an indication of quality? And then Kelvin's also saying, how do you know which traffic source gives quality traffic? So, quality in this context is referring to how well the leads convert for the advertiser on the back end. So, and that's an indication of how engaged the user is when they fill out the form, how interested and how targeted that person is, how badly do they want to go to school, etc. Some demographics, really, convert better for the advertiser in terms of getting them into whatever school they're selling the leads to, etc. So women may do better for them. So quality for every advertiser could be a different definition. So for some people, they know that certain demographics, certain age groups, genders, whatever, convert better for them, so that they consider that quality traffic. So it really just means, are they making money off your leads? That's really all that means. And just because you generated a lead doesn't mean anything. So if the advertiser is paying like, $2 a lead, and then I paid my friend $1 to go fill that out, he doesn't care about that. He's incentivized to do it, and he's not going to, convert when they call him up and try to sell him something, right? So that's why, incentivized traffic is usually the lowest quality, and they most advertisers don't want that kind of traffic. And you don't really know exactly if your traffic source is giving the advertiser quality traffic because you can't see their numbers on the back end, and that's why we want to do a quality check and make sure that everything's working for them. And there's a lot of affiliates that do things deceptively. There's people that push fraud as well. That have robots on the internet that fill out lead forms and stuff. And obviously that's not going to work for them. So that's why one of the reasons why if you're just sitting there not driving traffic for 6 months and then all of a sudden you drive a lot of traffic, that's an indication of a fraudulent affiliate as well. So you want to keep that relationship going so everybody gets paid and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point, Russell. That's a big red flag. Especially if you don't communicate, if you just start throwing traffic at a network, and you've been signed up there for like a year, you haven't pushed traffic in 6 months, but you just start throwing, a couple thousand clicks a day and a couple hundred leads out of nowhere, and that's a big red flag, guys. Without communicating, you have to communicate. That's the number one. That's like the golden rule right there of having a good, successful relationship with the network.
And a lot of times, just so people don't get scared, a lot of times, because I've had traffic sources on lead gen campaigns that were producing bad traffic for advertisers. But I started off slow, and they told me my traffic sucked, and they just took me off the offer. But they still paid me for that, 50, 100 leads, whatever I got. So the advertisers are willing to take some risk, but when they're optimizing the campaign with the network, they're looking at you as an affiliate or a publisher. And one of the things they can do is they can say, hey, this affiliate right here, which is represented by some number that they give them, your affiliate ID, they can say turn him off. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to pay for what you did up to that point. Because there's some testing that has to be done there, and they realize that, and they'll take some of that risk, but you just don't want to go crazy with it right off the bat.
Yeah, that's awesome conversation. By the way, Steve, that was Mason, not Russell, hopping in there.
I thought I said Mason. I knew who it was.
Okay, I just thought it was funny. So,
we're still out here.
Another question we have, from Jim is: are the networks weary of organic search engine traffic? Basically, search engine results. And I'll give my little tidbit, and I'll see what the other coaches have to say about that. But basically, the thing about search engine results, the organic traffic, is that if you show them a website and you say, I have this many visitors per day or this many visitors per month, and you're in the right niche, and you're asking for a specific offer, they're probably going to like that. The only thing is, if you're not getting a lot of traffic, do they really want you as an advertiser? If you have a site that's getting like 10 visitors a month, what are the chances of you making it, really sending them a lot of traffic? Probably not very high. So, but otherwise, I'd say, as long as you've got a website in the niche and you want to advertise for, an offer in the niche, then why not?
Yeah, I'd agree, Leanne. I think they'll be drooling over you if you have organic search. That's a high quality form of traffic. It's not easy to do, and with the way Google throws the panda around, it's things change often. So if you find if you have a good organically ranked site, then they're gonna drool over you. They're gonna love you. So that's definitely a nice form of traffic.
All right, so there's one more thing I'll address. I know we've gone for almost an hour and a half now. There's one more thing I'll address. In the beginning, if you came on a little bit late, I explained in the beginning that I go in and send out the reminder emails. And today I was kind of in a rush because it was 10 minutes before the webinar, and I accidentally sent it to a bunch of people who are not in the Jumpstart course. So first of all, I apologize for that if you didn't hear my apology in the beginning. But second of all, if you're here and you're wondering, what is this course that you're talking about? How can I watch the rest of the webinars? Email support@ovallstars.com and say, hey, I'd like to get the Jumpstart course, and they will help you get set up. They'll help you get into the course. And again, I apologize for that. I was kind of in a rush, and I said, "Oh." I actually sent an email. I don't know if you saw it in Russell's inbox when he showed his inbox earlier. It said, "Oh crap." So again, I apologize for that. But if you enjoyed this webinar, if you learned a lot, you want to access the rest of them and really learn and see step by step how we set up campaigns, because next week we're getting into actually doing the market and the keyword research. Then we're going to talk about how to set up creatives. We're going to show you how to get set up on the ad networks, how to do your tracking, which is really the key to doing arbitrage, right? The key to making money. And we had the question earlier of, what does making money depend on? Well, it depends on you paying less for traffic than you make back from the affiliate network or from the CPA network. We're going to show you how to run a campaign live. We're going to show you case studies. We're going to show you how to optimize, and we're going to use some bonus material as well. So if you're not already part of Jumpstart and you want to get in there and you got in here because of my accident, then do contact support at ovallstars.com and get set up. And with that, I'll let the other coaches close it off with any final comments.
I guess I'll go first real quick, guys. Definitely a pleasure to speak to everybody today. Take this information, that you guys have gotten, and you guys all have to incorporate it into your own operation. So it might be what you heard today might be different for each of you, and there's nothing wrong with that. So take this, apply, and take action on it. That's so important. You hear us all say, take action, take action, take action. Without taking action, all this knowledge is just going to sit in your head, and it's not going to do any good. So if you have any questions, I'd love to, feedback in the forum, ask any questions. We have a special section just for, the Jumpstart members. Feel free to post it in there. But yeah, I'd love to hear some feedback and questions about how things are going for you guys in the forum, so we can see, see what you're getting out of the course.
Yeah, this is Russell. Just wanted to ring in one more time before the end. I know I went first, so it's been a little while now. But, just to echo what Steve said, definitely take this information. The key to all of this is action. Take action and, go out there and, run some offers, whether it's taking what Steve said on the desktop side and running it with, PPV, or CPV traffic, or whether it's taking, what I was talking about and picking some great mobile offers, buying a little bit of traffic from, say, like AdMob or M Media, which is a division of Millennial Media. It's the self-serve platform, or even, JumpTap, or, you could go that way. So, one way or another, take action, take this content, and, start building your method. And it's like Steve said, it may not necessarily be like ours, but at any rate, now you have all the tools at hand when you go back through, take notes on this stuff, and you'll be 100% ready to go. So, best of luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing people come in and start, case studies on this stuff step by step, so we can help you and get you profitable. That's what you're here for, so take advantage and do it.
Yeah, I'll just add to that a lot of the stuff we were talking about today, is definitely, Steve did a really good job by going into a lot of detail about all, a lot of different aspects of the business and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry about all of that stuff right now. Just make yourself a list of things to do. Get accepted to some networks, look at some offers, browse around the forum, post your questions, and then, pick something and get started with it. And, you ask us if you need it, you need help. We've all been affiliate managers. I think Steve's owned a CPA network in the past, so we've all worked on all sides of the business. We've been affiliates, everything else. So, yeah, take advantage of that.
Awesome. Well, Thank you to all the coaches for all your amazing input and sharing all the knowledge, and thank you to everybody for your time. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on next week's call. And you'll receive an email, hopefully just to Jumpstart members next time. And of course, we'll post it in the forum, in your private forum section for Jumpstart members. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to the coaches again, and everyone have a fantastic week. Until next time. Bye, everyone.